Hey everybody, what is going on? HexLex here. So, I started recording this as a Patreon exclusive video, but I have so many thoughts about this that I wanted to make this a main series video. On that note, if you're interested in seeing some exclusive content that doesn't get posted here at the main YouTube channel, patreon.com/hexlex is a great place to look. All the videos I post there are like at least 10 to 15 minutes long, if not longer, and it's all content that is exclusive to that platform. We look at a lot of new cards, we look at a lot of OCG tournament results to get an idea of the Master Duel meta in the future. I show off some replays that don't make it to main videos, so if you're looking for a way to support the channel and get some extra content, that's a great place to start. Patreon.com/hexlex. Really appreciate the support there. But anyway, yeah, like I said, this video was going to go on Patreon, but as soon as I started like going on about it, I was like, no. This needs to be a main channel video. I want to talk about the latest TCG ban list today. Now, I want to preface this that I don't play TCG format, so I might be not as well informed as I could be about some of the hits here, but I do still keep up with what's generally doing well. And one thing I've noticed about the TCG that a lot of people have been saying is that they thought the format before this ban list was really good. It was really diverse. A lot of things felt really strong and viable. And I hope for the sake of TCG players that that is the case moving forward. But I kind of feel like it's not going to be. And I'll get into that as we get going here. But before we start talking about the individual hits, I want to talk about why TCG ban lists are my least favorite. I really don't like them, even less than Master Duel ban lists. Well, I think Master Duel has like the best ban list, in my opinion. But the reason I don't really like TCG ban lists is, and to be fair, this is something that every Yu-Gi-Oh ban list, including Master Duel and OCG, are also guilty of. But TCG is just it just has so much less shame about it. And that is, the TCG ban list's primary function is not to balance the game, but to get you to buy the latest cards. Now, again, Master Duel and OCG also do this to an extent as well, but TCG is so overtly obvious and in your face about it. And it's something that TCG players complain about too, but for some reason, I think because of exactly Maxi and Appaloosa, a lot of TCG players still think their ban list is the best. Firmly disagree. Like, obviously, I would like to see Maxi and Appaloosa banned in Master Duel, but I don't think those factors alone make TCG the best ban list. And this is just going to be a bunch of examples why, even right off the bat, Forbidden, Moon of Closed Heaven, why only just now? For one, why only just now, when Fiendsmith is less of a problem than it's been previously? Two, why in general? I don't think Moon of Closed Heaven needs to be banned to address Fiendsmith in general. Considering TCG had already banned Fusion Lacrima, and I think limited Engraver to 1, or was it 2? I don't remember. I think that's already more than enough. To me, prime example of a ban that is like trying to say, okay, don't play Fiendsmith cards anymore, you gotta buy the new stuff. We're gonna see many examples of this, but Splash Mage is actually another one of them. This ban is disgusting, honestly. There are other ways to hit Malice, which were done on this ban list, by the way. Splash Mage to 0 is just so obviously Konami being like, all right, stop playing old Cyber Stacks. You gotta buy new cards. Also evident by the fact that Circular is still banned. Like, in what world does Circular and Splash Mage need to be banned on top of like other hits that Cybers and Malice have already taken? I can see people cheering at this because Cyber's bad, Cyber's bad, Cyber's bad. But if you're willing to expand your mind a little bit and think beyond the opinions that are fed to you by other people, you'll realize pretty quickly that Splash Mage ban is like so unnecessary, and it hurts rogue Cyber stacks so much worse than Malice. I know a lot of people out there will just, again, are just kind of mindlessly following trends, which, by the way, I kind of caught some flack for saying that in the last video that I did. When I say mindlessly, or I'm saying that people should expand their thinking, I'm not calling people stupid, because I don't think most people are stupid. I don't think it's that people are incapable of thinking beyond opinions that are fed to them. I think they're not willing to. And I think that's 10 times more frustrating. It's one thing if somebody's not capable of doing something, but if somebody is capable of it and simply chooses not to, I think that's far more egregious. And I think that's a lot of what's going to be happening when people are cheering for Splash Mage's ban. they think to themselves, Malice bad, Cyber's bad, pro players said so, bad card banned, yay. But it's like, no, okay, well, there are other hits that do affect Malice here. And there are other ones that could have been done if you wanted to hit Malice further beyond just limiting Dormouse. But beyond that, again, you have to think about the rogue cyber stacks. You might not like them, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be able to be played. And that's another thing that I've noticed more in TCG players than I do in other formats players, is that there are so many times where I've been like, okay, but this card isn't bad, right? You just don't like it. And they're like, yeah, and that's why you want it banned? Yeah. I've said this before, I'll say it again, that is childish. That is just childish. To acknowledge that something isn't a problem, but to not want other people to be able to use it because you don't like it, that is just childish. All right. So yeah, terrible ban, terrible ban. Speaking of the Fair Lamps, I don't know enough about the TCG format to know exactly what this is being used in. Obviously I know what it does, it adds reptile monsters, but I don't know. Maybe, I don't know enough about this ban to comment on it, so I'm just gonna move on. Paradise Smasher. I actually do think this is a good ban. I don't know why it wasn't done sooner. Yes, I do actually know why, to sell more canine cards, but I mean, this is the prime example of where I think the Master Duel ban list is way better than the TCG ban list. Master Duel is willing to ban Paradise Smasher like months before Canine even comes out. Not only because, of course, it was used in Memento, but also for some future-proofing. TCG, on the other hand, will sit there and let you get Paradise Smashered until they feel they've sold enough packs with Canine cards in them, and then they'll ban them. And I cannot stress enough that this is the main reason, one of the main reasons why I hate Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG and its ban list. I think the ban list is terrible for this exact reason. Alright, cards to be limited. X Ryzeal, I guess it's fine. I think Ryzeal, like every Ryzeal mid-deck monster is limited in TCG, right? Maybe I'm misremembering that. That might even be OCG, but I thought I remembered a TCG ban list where it was like Sword, Ice, and X. Maybe they all went to 2, actually. Maybe that's what it was. Either way, X Ryzeal limit. That's fine. I don't have any huge issue with that. Dormouse to 1 I think is completely fine. Raisin to 1 I think is completely fine. Fiendsmith's Lacrima, well yeah, if you're gonna gut Fiendsmith by banning Moon, you should probably do that. Linkuriboh never needed to be banned in the first place. I'm just gonna say it. I thought this the whole time, and I said it a little bit in like friend groups. This was back when Challenger Cup was going on. I was in that testing group, and I was like, hey, I don't really think Linkuriboh should be banned. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. But yeah, I've thought that this entire time, and like Linkuriboh did not need to be banned. It did not need to be banned. But of course, only, you know, once the TCG undoes it, do people actually acknowledge that. When it was banned, it was the right call. Then when it got unbanned, then it didn't, yeah, whatever. Summon Sork with the errata is completely fine. Herald of the Arclight. That's a little weird. Trying to think of a deck or a situation where the second and third Herald like really, really matter. I don't know. It's like, I think the only reason I don't hate this limit more is because I don't think this limit does a lot. Zodiac Trident, yeah, could have gone to 1, God, literally multiples of years ago. Would have been fine. Could be at 3 multiples of years ago and would still be fine. Another reason I really don't like the TCG ban list is that they take forever to unhit most things. Most because we do have Snake Eye cards. But I mean, think about like Red Rose Dragon, which embarrassingly bad limit in that Halcyon format in the first place. Like genuinely embarrassingly bad hit. But then it also literally took them 5 years to undo it. Like, it's just so embarrassing. Like, I will always pin Red Rose Dragon as like the most embarrassingly awful TCG hit I've ever seen in my life, good lord. But anyway. Crystron Inclusion. Okay, this is literally exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about, where Konami, it's not just that they are hitting cards too late. They're hitting cards that aren't a problem to get you to buy new stuff. I made a Twitter post about this, and I had some replies that are like, what are you talking about? K9 Crystron is the second best K9 deck right now. And it's like, yeah, I don't think that warrants inclusion being limited. If anything, it would warrant the K9 cards being hit, but we can't hit those because they're still newer, and Konami wants you to buy more packs. It's like, this is the kind of thing where, like, how do you not see the shittiness of this limit? How do you not see how scummy Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG is? I think a lot of people acknowledge it, but because Maxi exists in Master Duel, they just pretend like TCG is the best format, which, like, I don't know. If you want to spend the most amount of money of any format to play the worst ban list of any format, I guess more power to you. But again, I don't think the existence of Maxi and Appaloosa is enough to blind me to all of the glaring issues that TCG has. Obedient School makes sense. Stake Your Soul is fine. Solemn Judgment as a sideboard card, I could see multiple copies being, you know, too much. These limits are all fine, I think. Brain Diffusion to 2, fine. Yeah, I think that's good. And these unlimits, like Bulb could have been unlimited years and years and years ago. It would have been fine. Masterpiece would have been fine years ago. Morphing Jar, oh my god, this card could have been unlimited so long ago. Phantom Sky Blaster. Okay, Snake Eye, Ash, and Poplar. Rare TCGW for actually unlimiting stuff in a timely fashion. Rare TCGW. If they keep doing this more moving forward, then I will have one less insult to hurl at at the TCG. So this is good. This is like the only thing on this ban list where I'm like, hey, this is like a positive change that Konami TCG is doing by unlimiting these cards. Like, I would have expected Ash and Poplar to get unlimited like 2 years from now at the soonest, but for them to be doing it now is like, okay, all right. They might have another card banned. Oh yeah, OSS is banned. That's probably the only reason these are going to 3. But still, I think that's fine. That's fine. Diagram at 3 is completely fine. Lightning Storm at 3 is whatever. Barrage at 3. Why put Barrage to 3 and not Trident? That's really, really weird, but whatever. It's fine. So, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, even the only compliments I can really give this ban list are either this is a fine/expected hit, or wow, you're actually doing this sooner than like years and years into the future, which, like, I feel like if that's the highest praise I can give a ban list, it's not that great of a ban list. From people who do play the TCG that I talk to/follow, I've seen kind of mixed reactions. And this is kind of a mixed list. Again, some of these hits are actually pretty solid. Dormouse to 1, Raisin to 1, Seek Your Soul to 1. I think this is all fine. And maybe, I don't know exactly how good K9 VS is in TCG. Maybe these both didn't need to be limited, but I think a lot of the stuff, especially the bans, are just not timely or warranted. These first 2 bans are just so egregiously horrible, and I will die on this hill. These cards did not at all need to be banned. This is one, like, especially when you think about how wide a swath of decks were hurt by these 2 bans alone, right? Like, anything that uses Fiendsmith as an engine is now just a million times weaker, and every single Cyber stack, even, I would say, especially the bad ones, are also now a million times worse. That is a very, like, when you think of Fiendsmith decks and Cyber decks, that is a very wide swath of decks that Konami has effectively just killed, given the axe here. All so that you will buy more packs, because I do not think these cards were the things that were ruining the meta. But it is, again, the lowest amount of cards to ban that forces the most amount of players to change their deck so they buy new stuff. It's just gross. It's just disgusting. And again, I'm not saying Konami TCG is the only one that does this. OCG and Master will do it too. OCG actually had another pretty obvious example of this when they banned Appaloosa. This is something that I touched on before, but when Appaloosa got banned, a lot of people just kind of like blindly cheered at it, like, yay, bad card gone, bad card gone. But if you actually look at the OCG format, the only deck that was the only, like, if you look at the top 10 competitive decks at that time, the only deck among them that was playing Appaloosa at all was Malice. And on top of that, Malice can still play through Nibiru without Appaloosa using Allied Code Talker at Ignister. So not only was only one of the top 10 meta decks even playing Appaloosa at all in the OCG, but banning Appaloosa did not affect that deck at all. Like, they only banned Appaloosa at a time when it wasn't really opportune to use it in the format, which again, I think is a pretty telltale sign of like, hey, we're only going to address these problems if they help, line our wallet. Or if they, aren't, like if banning Appaloosa disincentivizes players from buying a new pack, they're not going to be doing it, right? Which I think is only why they banned Appaloosa when they did. These are things that are important to think about with ban lists that, again, I don't think people think a lot about. And like I said before, to sort of counter this comment that I got last time, it's not that I think people are stupid. I'm not calling you or the people as a whole stupid. I think it's, again, a lack of willingness to explore this idea rather than a lack of ability to do so. Which, again, I think is 10 times more condemnable than not being able to explore an idea, is not being willing to. So that's it. That's all I got to say. Thanks for your time, I guess. I'm always a little bit... I feel a little bit dicey posting opinion pieces just because I never know how well they're going to be received. Not in terms of just the opinions themselves, but if people are going to be like, oh, this isn't the usual style of video, but maybe people don't want the usual style of video. Who knows? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Super appreciate ya. Let us now move on to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which, by the way, is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.